I wrote quite a bit this week about an idea that I call an army of Cartmans, and I'm making fun of the book An Army of Davids, because we saw the Army of Davids in action this week, picking on the president for eating dog meat when he was a child in Indonesia, and that just by itself is absurdly stupid, but people in Indonesia eat dog meat. Wow. I'm certain there are things that we eat here that would scandalize them, and in both cases the scandal is strictly parochial. It's a matter of local prejudice and xenophobia. And so what better message could the so-called leaders of the freedom-seeking movement provide for everyone else except to prove that they're prejudicial and xenophobic? How stupid is that? But the procedure that they undertook was to make a whole bunch of superficially differentiated jokes that in fact were all the same one joke. It was like King of the Hill, the kid who says, "Your mom's a substitute," and that's all he ever says. Obama ate dog meat, ha 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 ha. That's not funny, that's not even a joke. It's the fallacy, the logical fallacy known as the appeal to ridicule, and it's fallacious. It's a bad argument. It doesn't make any difference. If I make fun of you, that doesn't make you wrong. Actually, that was where the plot of Mean Girls turned, was her recognizing that because the girl she was up against in the contest was ugly and introverted, that didn't make her wrong. The fallacy of ridicule is logically fallacious. It doesn't lead you to any sort of truth at all. And what's worse is that these pinheads, and they probably deserve respect in other regards, but they don't deserve any respect this week. These pinheads were simply stealing from the playbook of the communists, of the collectivists, of the Marxists. And this is, Marx said, you can't refute a sneer. And what he meant was that if I can sneer in public, and if I can get all of my followers, my mindless followers, to sneer in public, I don't have to make a logical argument. I don't have to make a persuasively valid argument. All I have to do is sneer, and everyone will know what to do about it. And this is, I mean, a horrible practice. We know this is a horrible practice because we resent it when it's done to us. And so why would we do it in return? What is the benefit of undertaking, getting better at perfecting the practices of our enemies? We become what we despise, and that's ridiculous, because the real message that you communicate when you do that, the message that you communicate to an undecided party, is that there's no difference. There's no difference between the communists and the so-called Friends of Freedom. They're all advocates of evil, and they behave in evil ways. And the political tactics that they undertake to deploy in the marketplace of the mind are evil. They're evil people. That's what they're saying. We are evil. We're just as evil as they are. And the fallacies that they use to rationalize this, I talk about this in the book too, the fallacies tu quoque and two wrongs make a right. Tu quoque is Latin. It means you do it too. And you'll hear it all the time. And you'll always hear it from children, because children are masters at fallacious arguments. But two wrongs make a right is the same thing. He hit me first. I saw a poster on Facebook a few minutes ago. The dog started it. It was a cat in a police lineup, and his excuse was the dog started it. The fact that communists do these things is not to their credit, and it's certainly worthwhile to point out that they do it, that their arguments are fallacious, that their behavior is atrocious. That's good. But emulating that behavior is not good. It is the opposite of good. It is evil. And you cannot achieve good ends by evil means. And so this was a complete waste of time. I mean, there were important things that should have been discussed this week, including the conversation that I'm trying to incite here. And I was picking on the exact idiots who were responsible for this outrageous display of evil. So we didn't have the conversation, but we did waste a lot of time, and we did shred a whole lot of intellectual capital, and that's horrifyingly stupid. That is just stupid. It's wrong. It's evil. It's wrong. It's vile. It's contemptible. It is not to be emulated. It is not to be admired, and it is certainly not to be repeated. And that's the ultimate benefit for discovering an error. And don't get the idea that I've never made an error, because everything I know consists of having been wrong. Madly, badly, sadly wrong about something that I thought for sure I had right, and discovered that I was wrong. I'm not absolving myself of anything. There is no sin I can name that I haven't committed, and probably better than you. I can certainly attest to many occasions in the past when I've done the wrong thing, and done the wrong thing knowing I was doing the wrong thing. And I promise you that these people knew they were doing the wrong thing. They wouldn't have done it if they hadn't understood that it was the wrong thing to do. But it was the wrong thing to do, and it's not to be repeated. And that's the benefit of discovering an error in your thinking, is learning how not to repeat it, learning how to do better the next time. And so that's why I wanted to talk about this.